Jihoon is holding back another huge lie from Deavan on 90 Day Fiance. Guys, 90 Day Fiance was on last night, and oh my god, they need to change the name of this show from 90 Day Fiance to a bunch of liars. Every single one of these couples is lying like crazy, starting off with Deavan and Jihoon. Now, Deavan, she isn't lying. She is, in my opinion, just the innocent one here. But Jihoon, he will not stop lying. In the last episode or two ago, Jihoon told Deavan, I have a full-time job, I'm going to be making a good amount of money, and after our little short-term rental, we have to move out. After 1 month, I will be able to get us a place. Well, in last night's episode, he sat down with his friends and they were hanging out and they were laughing at how funny this guy is. And he told them, I don't have a full-time job, number one. And number two, I'm not going to be able to afford a place. And maybe, if I worked morning, afternoon, and night, I might be able to possibly afford a place. But his two friends were like, Jihoon, dude, you have never worked hard in your entire life. And I just sat here watching thinking, oh my god, it's going to happen again. She is going to get there, and after a few weeks, a month or so, she's going to say, Jihoon, you don't have a job, and you aren't making any money, and I'm going to go back to the States. It is unbelievable. I don't know what or how or what we got to do to get this guy to straighten up, but dude, get a job. And the other thing is, he was telling his friends that he's only going to make $3,000 to $4,000. So I didn't know if that was like Korean dollars or USD, but I did the conversion, and like $3,000 to $4,000 Korean dollars would be like $3 to $4 if that was the actual conversion. So he has to be talking about USD, which that made me think, geez, is the cost of living that high where you can't live off $3,000 to $4,000 a month in Korea? But I guess he's going to have a family of 4, so it kind of makes sense. But that still doesn't seem too bad. Either way, that must mean USD, and I guess from his delivery part-time job, he's just not going to make enough money. The thing that breaks my heart is the guy won't stop lying. So put in the comments below what you all think of Deavan and Jihoon and what this, series of lies is going to do to their relationship. Do you guys think that they will ever actually get a divorce and end their marriage, or will she just come back to the States, or will she eventually just try to get him to come back to the States and she'll work full-time and I guess he'll be a stay-at-home dad? Who knows? I just don't like the looks of it. Either way, speaking of liars, we have to bring up Jenny and Sumit because Sumit is right there with Jihoon. In the last episode, Jenny made it to India. She was ecstatic. She was so happy to see Sumit. And Sumit looked pretty happy too. He definitely, I think, does kind of somewhat like Jenny. The issue is, in an episode or two, the same thing, they were FaceTiming, and Sumit said, hey, I got this big, beautiful, big house, but he forgot to mention that their new house is actually in a horrible neighborhood, filled with crime and all this other stuff. So they got to the house, they were all happy, then Sumit sat down and said, actually, it's not the best neighborhood, and this and that. Same thing. He's holding back information. He won't be honest. Now, his lies weren't as bad. The person that's really lying is Yazan and Brittany, the other couple that's on this show. Brittany finally made it to Jordan. They were happy to see each other. They were hugging. They were smiling. Then about 30 seconds later, Yazan went crazy and he got extremely mad. But before I get into why he got mad, we have to backpedal a little bit and talk about where Yazan was lying. Before Brittany came to Jordan, Yazan sat down with his mom and dad, and he had a conversation about Brittany and them getting married and the religion and everything else. And Yazan's dad, who is extremely into his religion, said that, we need to get her to convert, and eventually you guys need to get married ASAP. And Yazan just kept saying, of course, that's what we're going to do. But he kept saying that Brittany was going to convert when we just saw in the last episode, Brittany told him that she's probably not going to ever convert to his religion, and she just wants to kind of do her own thing and be independent, which is the exact opposite of what Yazan told his dad. So I was sitting there thinking, this is a complete and total absolute lie. And Yazan was telling his dad that Brittany is cool getting married ASAP, which that's exactly the exact opposite of what she said. So anyway, Yazan was lying like crazy. Same as Jihoon, same as Sumit. Then we fast forward to the next day and Brittany comes to Jordan, and like I said, they were lovey-dovey, they were happy, everything was going well, and then boom, I guess what happened was the TLC and 90 Day Fiancé producers went to go mic up Brittany, and then all of a sudden they saw a little bottle of you-know-what in her purse, which I guess it's like totally illegal to drink in Jordan. I don't know if that's actually the case or if it's just against his religion, because Brittany was standing there saying, well, it's not actually illegal, it's just against his religion. But Yazan was saying that is illegal, that is wrong, and he was going crazy. Now, I don't know if that was just drama for the show, but he did legitimately seem mad. To the point where I almost thought, God, is he just going to leave her here at the airport? But that is not the case, because I've now seen previews for the upcoming episodes, and they're together at his house. So they clearly, obviously, they must make up, but he was not happy. We saw Ariella, boring, 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 not even going to get into it. She is going over to see Binyam. She's getting ready to leave. She's saying her goodbyes to her family and whatnot, and that is it. Now let's backpedal a little bit more on Jenny and Sumit, because I just briefly touched up on them. I just wanted to cover his lies first, and you guys might say, hey, Sumit isn't really lying, but yeah, he kind of is. He's not totally lying, he's just stretching the truth. In the FaceTime, he told Jenny that we have this nice, big, beautiful house. Now in person, he's saying, yeah, it is big, but it's not fully done. It's in an abandoned neighborhood, and it's not in the safest neighborhood. So yeah, he's stretching the truth, which he always tends to do. Throughout the whole episode, Jenny just kept telling Sumit, please don't lie to me, please don't lie to me, please don't lie to me. And what do you think the guy is eventually going to probably end up doing? Well, he's probably going to eventually keep lying to her, because that is just his ongoing trend. They had this little ceremony at the new house to make sure that all was good, filled with good energy and good vibes, and a little odd, but hey, it's their, culture, their deal. I'm not here to judge. It was kind of cool, different from what I've seen in the US, but it's their thing. They kind of walked a cow through the house, I guess, for health, wealth, and happiness, and it was kind of strange, but they seemed to be happy. Jenny was a little thrown off, but Sumit seemed happy, and Sumit's friends were having a good time, and that's their way of, I guess, just blessing the house of good energy and vibes and everything. So I do wish them nothing but the best. I don't know what is going to happen, if they're going to stay together, if they're going to stay in India. I don't have any idea. The other thing that Sumit did say, that I don't know if this has even really been mentioned much, is that he owed his ex-father-in-law $20,000. And supposedly he already gave him half of it, which that seems like a crap ton of money, especially overseas in India, because I don't think he's making much more than 10 to 20, maybe $30,000 a year, working in that call center. But God, that even seems really high. I have no idea, but if I had to guess, I'd say he's probably making $10,000 to maybe $20,000 a year. So for him to have to give, 20 grand to his ex-father-in-law is absolutely insane and a ton of money. Okay, then we saw Armando. We didn't get to see Kenneth, but we did see Armando. But before I get into Armando, I want to throw this out to you guys, just a little thought, an idea. As many of you guys know, I have a podcast. It's on iTunes and Spotify and everything else, free to listen to. I enjoy posting the podcast because they are longer form on 90 Day Fiancé and on everything else, but a lot of you guys after my last podcast were messaging me saying, hey, I don't ever listen to podcasts. I don't even know how to listen to a podcast. So that kind of discouraged me, from continuing to post on podcasts. However, the cool thing about doing a podcast in combination with the YouTube is I can be a little bit more free range and really kind of rant and rave and share my honest opinion, which yes, I do share my honest opinion on YouTube, but as many of you guys know, YouTube is very strict on what you do and don't say, so I have to kind of watch certain words here and there, whereas on a podcast, I could totally just say what I am thinking and kind of be more no holds back and really let it go, where on YouTube, I kind of hold things back. Not a lot, but some words here and there. So I wanted to ask you guys, if I was to do maybe a weekly podcast, I think I would get guests occasionally, but if I was to do a weekly podcast where I go full in, we're not inappropriate or explicit, but just I really kind of can really say what I am thinking on my mind, and I don't have to hold things back. Kind of like a raw version of this, but I can really let things go. Would you guys listen to it? That was my number one question. And if so, if you guys would listen to it, let me know in the comments below, and I will get that going, because I do want to do a little bit longer form stuff where I can really truly be myself and not have to hold words back here and there, because that is just kind of annoying. But I do love YouTube, so I can't complain too much. Anyway, let me know in the comments below if you would listen to a weekly podcast on 90 Day Fiance, Married at First Sight, and everything else I talk about on here. Anyway, now on to Kenneth and Armando. Like I said, we didn't even see Kenneth. We saw Armando, and it was kind of a bittersweet clip. He was with his mom and his dad. He already said that he came out to them about 3 years ago, but because in Mexico, their culture is different, so they weren't very supportive. They were kind of even trying to deny the whole thing. But he kind of came out to them, I guess, and just said, hey, I know I've held things back, and I know I was even married to a woman at one point, but this is really just me. I have to be myself. And he mentioned, his relationship and everything, and his parents were crying. He was crying, but at the end of the day, his parents gave him a big old hug, and they seemed to be relatively, I don't want to use the word supportive, but they seemed to be on board with just letting him be who he is. So it was a bittersweet clip for sure. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and please, please, please comment below if you would actually listen to a podcast if I started one. I know a lot of you guys don't like podcasts, you don't listen to podcasts, but if you do, if enough of you guys tell me that you would listen to it, then I will start doing a once a week podcast on everything that's going on that week. So please comment below, let me know, and stay tuned for many more videos.